Hi everybody, this is Becky, LuckyVitamin's Junior Category Manager of Vitamins, Minerals, and Herbs. It's great to have so many people joining us today for LuckyVitamin's Wellness Webinar, How to Properly Detox and Cleanse, presented by David Sandoval, co-owner of Pure Planet, author, educator. Thank you all very much. Mr. Sandoval is a world-recognized expert, an in-demand lecturer, and radio talk show personality, as well as an entrepreneur, nutritionist, activist, personality, author, and one of the leading authors on whole food nutrition and disease prevention. Because of his passion for helping people recognize the relationship between diet and health, David Sandoval co-founded and is the CEO of Pure Planet. Believing that there is most definitely a relationship between diet and disease, Sandoval has dedicated himself to providing real solutions for reclaiming health through nutritious, real whole foods organically grown. Before I turn things over, just a quick few reminders. This webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you after its conclusion. If you have any questions during today's webinar, please enter them into the question box on your screen. At the end of the webinar, we will try to answer as many as possible. The promotion code will be given at the end of the presentation and will be available for 72 hours. Thank you all again, and I'm going to turn things over to David.
Well, good morning or good afternoon, depending upon where you are in the world today. As she said, my name's Dave, and that's the least important thing that you're going to learn today. You can forget my name, but I hope you won't forget the cool stuff that I'm going to share with you. I'm here to talk about a company called Pure Planet and our Detox and Cleanse products. And Pure Planet is exactly what the name stands for. We have our roots over 22 years ago. We have always made a promise that our products are pure, 100% pure. Well before there were fear about non-GMOs, we were non-GMO. We have been without binders, fillers, excipients, preservatives, additives, coloring agents, flow agents of any kind. And quite honestly, we were a trendsetter in this whole organic movement. We were Oregon Tilth, and then we were OCIA, and then finally we fought for USDA. I used to travel all around the planet checking organic farmers who claimed to be organic to verify independently that in fact there were. Before there were official certifying boards, we were self-certified. So purity and history were always important to me. I have studied herbology from a wide variety of backgrounds. Chinese and Ayurvedic are very commonly known. Not too many people know about the Ashaninkas of South America, the shaman of North America, the Jamu of Indonesia, the medicine man from Africa, Swiss herbology, or even the profound knowledge of Japanese herbs. So I studied 12 ancient cultures and learned about their methods of healing with plants and herbs. And I always believed that the answer is in nature. And so the problems usually have come from man. I don't mean always. There have been meteors. There have been, overpopulations of animals. There have been predation. There have been droughts and famines and floods and fires. But other than those natural phenomena, the problems that afflict men have come from men. And so I believe the answers also must come from the combination of men and nature. And so what do we mean by detoxification? Well, the body has many, many ways to detoxify. You can start from your skin where you sweat, and you detoxify through sweating. And we know that saunas are a great way to detoxify. We know that you need to open up your pores and let those toxins out. Also, when we cry, believe it or not, that's a form of detoxification. If we get dust in our eyes, we'll cry. When we sneeze, when we cough, when we throw up, all those things are forms of detoxification. When we urinate and defecate, those are the two that most people are familiar with, but there are more. And within our body, each organ detoxifies in its own unique way, but there are organs that are specific to detoxification. The liver, the kidneys, the small intestine. All of these are vitally important to eliminating toxins, trapping them, buffering them before they could affect or afflict your body. Now, are there some types of toxins that are living, and they are what we call parasites. And so we're not only going to talk about toxic matter from our environment, chemicals and such, we're also going to talk about those little bugs that could live inside of us. Now remember, there are billions and billions and billions of good bugs that live inside of us, but there's also some bad bugs, and we're going to talk about how to eliminate those. And then there's the deeply seated toxins, things like lead, mercury, dioxins, and of course now we know, phosphosites, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's a new word. It's the byproduct of GMOs. And so this is another thing I'm working very, very diligently on. I'm right on the edge of a discovery of how we could detoxify the residue of eating GMO foods from our cells and from our bioflora. And this is why. But right now, some of our specific products, and again, detoxification is something our bodies do naturally in 16 different ways that I've documented. However, we want our body's natural ability to eliminate toxins. We want to facilitate, open up the pathways. We want to push, we want to pull, we want to coerce, we want to put soap and wash. I mean, we literally are going to pull out all the stops at eliminating toxins within your body. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about was Earth's most ancient food. Literally, the most ancient plant, the most ancient food on the planet that was stable. Now, billions and billions of years ago, all forms of life were mutated. They were mutated by the sun, ultraviolet, radioactive light, because there was no atmosphere. And Chlorella was the only thing on the planet that was able to resist that mutation because it developed an amazing ribonucleic acid profile that kept it from mutating. And today, it also had this hard, what's called a chitinous cell wall. And that's where you hear the word chitosan. Chitosan is this fiber that's able to absorb toxins. And so it has this chitosan cell wall. And it has these amazing ribonucleic acids. And RNA is like DNA, but it's the DNA of a plant. And it is also nature's richest source of chlorophyll. The next closest plant has 4 times less chlorophyll. So Chlorella is named after chlorophyll because it has so much of it. Now, it is clinically proven to eliminate unhealthy fats and help contribute to a stable blood lipid profile. We're talking things, as you know, like cholesterol and also your triglycerides and all of these things in the right ratios, and Chlorella is amazing at doing that. So it detoxifies unhealthy fats, okay? It also detoxifies unhealthy metals. It binds to heavy metals in the digestive tract. So if you've eaten food that's toxic in the last few days, Chlorella has the ability to eliminate that. Again, lead, mercury, dioxins, things like that. Really, really amazing. Now, it also does something really amazing. It detoxifies cells in a way because it stops cells from mutating. And this is a powerful statement, but Chlorella has never mutated. No matter how much radiation it's exposed to, it will not mutate. It is the most stable form of life on Earth. And when we tap into that ribonucleic acid, now, because of the way single hard cell into a bioavailable powder. And it is a patented method, but ours is the most bioavailable. There is no Chlorella more bioavailable on the planet than ours. Also, it's very important, our Chlorella is tested for radiation and is no radiation exposure whatsoever. Contrarily, Chlorella is one of the most important foods that you can eat to protect yourself from radiation. Detoxification through one of the three methods that our bodies use. One is blocking, suppressing, and repairing. If you could block a toxin from entering your body, that is best. If you could suppress the damage that it does once it gets in your body, then that is really, really good. And if you could repair the damage that is done by the toxin after it has happened, then that is the third leg, if you would. Our bodies have these three legs of detoxification: blocking, suppressing, and repairing. Blocking, suppressing, and repairing. And don't forget the fourth one, eliminating. So you try to block it so it doesn't harm the body, and when you block it, it either stays in the body and just doesn't affect the body, and then you have toxic deposits in your fat, or it moves on. So I could talk all day about chlorella. Ours is the finest. It is amazing. And again, you could give this to your animals. If your animals have tumors, this is the best way to prove this to yourself. You have to force your dog to eat the first tablet or two, but once they do, they'll know it's good for them, and they will gobble down these chlorella tablets. Every day you're going to give your dog these chlorella tablets, and one day he'll stop eating them, or she. 2 days later, that tumor will be gone. I've seen this happen more than 20 times, and I've helped it happen most of them. So chlorella, amazing at detoxifying the body, even from fatty tumors in dogs. So, and in yourself perhaps, but again, we don't make medical claims here. Moving on, the next product we have is the absolute favorite product of our stores. Right now, it is our fastest growing, getting more and more shelf space, more and more people hooked on it, bringing their friends into the stores and saying, this is the one I was telling you about. And you're going to hear those stories as well if you haven't already. It's the only complete antimicrobial and cleansing formula on the market that is certified organic. And if you're going to detoxify, don't you want to start with things that you know are free of toxins? Well, a parasite, in case you don't know, is something that will live off of something else. It will tap into the energy of something else. Now, many people don't realize that even viruses are parasites. But we're talking about these intestinal parasites, and we're using ingredients that are absolutely incredible. A combination of ingredients, it's really unprecedented because we are mechanically, not chemically, eliminating the parasites. And then we are creating an environment in a phytochemical way. So we're using a phytochemical method of eliminating parasites from the body. And that is why this is perhaps the most effective parasite cleanse that you'll ever see. It is so gentle. It's so gentle, yet it is dramatically effective. So first of all, we're talking about milk thistle, turmeric, marshmallow. These things have been used, Arabic gum. These things have been used forever. But we also have things like flaxseed, psyllium husk, chia seed, apple fiber, fennel seed, black walnut hull, opuntia, which is a cactus, marshmallow root. I'll tell you all about that in a second, in addition to the milk thistle, wormwood, and turmeric. Now, we know that wormwood is the single most effective method of eliminating parasites. The problem is that it has to be taken in very small amounts, and it is necessary to buffer its effect with other ingredients. We are the masters of that. We only give you 87 milligrams of wormwood per serving, which is about 25% less than what is considered your high level. We did that on purpose. We did that on purpose because we don't need to go to the upper level because of these other ingredients. Let me give you an example. When you mechanically remove parasites, you are putting ingredients in your body that have knife-like, razor-like sides. flax seeds, psyllium seed, excuse me, flax seeds and psyllium husk. The flaxseed and the psyllium husk are going to create like a scissor effect, and they are literally going to go in and they're going to get underneath the parasites, and they're going to cut them. It's going to be like a shaving parasites. It's amazing. And then what's going to happen is you're going to want the wormwood. The wormwood is then going to make all the parts of the parasites that have been attached to your body let go and not be stuck in your body and start to putrefy. The marshmallow root is, the marshmallow root is what I meant to say, is going to, if that's what I said, I might have said wormwood by accident. The marshmallow root is going to release the remaining parts of the parasites. Now, the chia seed, the apple fiber, they're going to gum up along with the opuntia cactus. And this is going to create this sort of like a gummy effect. If you've ever taken gum out of your mouth and rolled it on your fingers and saw the dirt from your fingers get on the gum, well, we're creating this massive, or rolled the dog hair or cat hair off of your clothes with one of those sticky rollers. Well, we're going to do that, but it's more like getting waxed. It's more like getting hair waxed. We're going to like literally go in and we're going to sort of strip away the things that are stuck to your intestines. And this feels really, really good. You can feel your intestines absorbing nutrients like they never have today before, absorbing water. Like you're like, oh my God, my body's rehydrating so fast. How is that happening? And it's because we're going to create this magical combination of effects. And then once that has been stripped, once we've taken the parasites and chopped them up and cleaned them out, and then we've taken and we've stripped all the nasty stuff off of your intestines, guess what we're going to do? We're going to use the turmeric, okay? We're going to use the turmeric, and we're going to use, the healthy fats, the omega-3 fatty acids, and they're going to create this beautiful lubricated, effect on the body. Now, remember, you're getting, healthy fats, you're getting soluble fiber. Why is soluble fiber so important? Well, soluble fiber is really important because it actually helps to get in and under and lift up and remove. And then we did one more thing that nobody else does. We put fennel seeds in there because fennel seeds take away odor. So if you happen to get a little bit gassy because you're detoxifying, and that does happen, it's probably better if it doesn't smell like you're detoxifying, if you know what I mean. Well, fennel seed is a great deodorizer internally, and it helps with digestion in a magical way. So as you can see, the Organic Parasite Cleanse has exceeded everyone else's, I guess you could say we've raised the bar considerably, exceeded everybody else's, accomplishments and taken them to the next level. So this unique combination, this unique methodology is effective, but also has its limitations. I want you to use the Organic Parasite Cleanse for 10 days. And then I want you to wait 20 days and use it for another 10 days. Why? Well, many of you know, I could hear your heads nodding. It's because parasites leave behind eggs that are not always cleansed away. You hope that they are, but just in case they're not, it takes about 18 days for a parasite to go through its gestation. So if you wait 20 days, the minute that every single one of those eggs have been hatched, you're going to clean out those baby parasites and have the effective, gentle, organic, non-GMO, gluten-free parasite cleanse that is made completely of superfoods, super fibers, and traditional herbs. That's all we have. So this is, again, our fastest rising star, and we think that you're going to love it. Okay. Well, if you don't need the Parasite Cleanse, we have the next down is what we call the Pro Fiber. And Pro Fiber is called Pro Fiber because it is protein and fiber. We jokingly call it Protofiber because it's really shortened it though to Pro Fiber because all fibers are not created equal. Ours is a phytochemically infused fiber product with antioxidants, omega-3s, and cholesterol regulating soluble fibers. We also have a parasite assist with the black walnut husk and the apple. So this is the perfect complement because it's a gentle parasite cleanse, but it doesn't have these more intense cleansing ingredients. Now, by the way, this is the fiber that burns fat. I'm going to say this again. This is the fiber that burns fat. We're probably going to change the name in the near future to reflect that because new scientific discovery has come out to prove that the ingredients we are using actually cause your body to raise the level of a fat-burning hormone called adiponectin. So again, we're going with many of the same ingredients like flaxseed and psyllium and apple and opuntia and chia and fennel and black walnut. So many of these ingredients are the same as in the organic parasite cleanse. The organic parasite cleanse just takes the Pro Fiber and kicks it up a major notch to become an intense parasite cleanse. But here's what else we've added. We've added this rice extract, stabilized rice bran, organic rice bran, and this is the major difference. And the reason it's the major difference, again, all these other ingredients we've already talked about, but these rice bran ingredients are actually going to give you a raise that's going to boost a hormone called adiponectin. Now, if you've ever noticed that some people eat the same thing as everybody else, but they gain weight, or some people eat everything else as everybody else and everybody gains weight, but they don't. You see, certain percentage of the population has 44% more adiponectin than the rest of the population. And when you look at that population, even if they eat the exact same food, the population with a lot of it's called a lean body type, and the person with to be more than likely have diabetes and high blood pressure. And the number is a hormone called proven to raise adiponectin, this ingredient that, and that's the fiber called lignan. And on flax oil, it's in the shell, it's not in the oil. To be more effective than tamoxifen at helping women fight, more effective than tamoxifen, flax lignan. And of course, it's number one in fiber inside of flax called beta-glucan fiber is the most effective. It's called, and it's the most effective at lipid levels. They didn't know about flax is that the flax of it. And here's the reason why the oils, fatty products in a fiber, is because fibers tend to absorb. You don't have moisture, you've lost in your intestine. Much better lubricant. Water's a great lubricant, fats. And so it's a nutritious this next thing, just like we have two levels of detoxifying parasites and cleansing the colon, ProFiber and the Organic Parasite Cleanse, we have two products that are amazing at detoxifying heavy metals. And while the Chlorella does a lot more, it has the Chlorella growth factor, it has all those other goodies that we know about Chlorella, the chlorophyll, etc. Zeolite is a specialist. Zeolite does one thing, it does one thing really, really, really well. Zeolite, imagine a volcano, imagine ancient times or even modern times, if you would, and there's a volcano spewing, and then the lava, the molten lava is running down the side of the mountain toward the ocean, and then it rushes into the ocean, and you see the super chilled water, not super chilled water, but the superheated magma, the molten lava, it's called magma, and it flows into the water, and all of a sudden there's steam, you know, pouring into the air as this molten lava is cooled by the ocean water. And when that happens, there's a unique thing that happens. There's a mineral that comes only from the center of the earth. It's a super amazing mineral. And when it hits the water, it forms a incredible hexagon, an incredible honeycomb type shape. And that honeycomb type shape becomes a magnet. It is negatively charged, positively charged, and it attracts, literally, it is a toxicity magnet. It attracts heavy metals, not just binds to them like Chlorella. It doesn't just bind to the heavy metals that are in the intestinal tract from the food you've eaten in recent days. It actually goes deeper than that into the blood and into the tissue and coaxes out those heavy metals that might be embedded there for years. Now, ours is a fraction of the price of other zeolites that I've seen, and it is the most effective because ours is in a liquid base. You want a mechanical cleansing when you're using food. When you're using zeolite, you want more of a homeopathic cleansing. So you want to put a little bit of the properly prepared zeolite into the system and let the heavy metals find their way to the zeolite. The reason why is because zeolite is a sharp-edged, very sharp-edged, way more sharp-edged than those flax seeds and psyllium husks. And because of that, you want to use a little bit of it. You want to combine it with a superfood like carrot juice or a green or even in our fiber and let it coax the heavy metals out of the body. Now, ours uses fulvic acid, and the reason we use fulvic acid is for an incredible reason that you need to understand. In nature, fulvic acid is what allows plants to uptake minerals from soil. Otherwise, they just sit side by side and water runs around and gets taken into the roots, but minerals don't. In order for minerals to be taken into the matrix of a plant, they require another mineral called fulvic acid. When we eat whole food, whole foods, fruits and vegetables, our body uses fulvic acid to take the minerals out of that food and move it into our cells. Fulvic acid is not a mineral that we need because we'd be deficient if we didn't have it. It's a mineral we need because it delivers the minerals we'd be deficient of if we didn't have them. You see, it is the waiter, it's not the food. It delivers the food. So bottom line is we use our negatively charged honeycombed mineral chelator called zeolite, and we combine it with fulvic acid to coax the minerals out of our body toward the zeolite. This is genius. No one else has done this. Literally coaxing these toxins from your cells so that they could be picked up by, imagine it's sort of like pre-cleaning, you know, your rug, if you would, before you vacuum. My grandma used to go around and do that. I don't know if it was effective, but she used to do it. Well, it definitely is effective this way. Now remember that this is also been used clinically to improve bone density. Now, why does it improve bone density? I'm going to tell you a little secret. When we have toxins in our body, we form acids called uric acids, and uric acids are only taken out of our body when they are surrounded by calcium. So our body creates liquid calcium in order to protect our body from these toxic acids. Now, zeolite is an alkalizer as well. It alkalizes the body. And when it alkalizes the body, then it helps defend against these acids. And because of that, our body doesn't produce an enzyme called TFOS. And when your body doesn't produce an enzyme called TFOS, and you can look it up, TFOS, an enzyme, that enzyme is responsible for dissolving our bone, taking our bone into our blood, and letting the uric acid be encased in liquid calcium that then hardens up and becomes kidney stones. So when we have too much uric acid in our body, we create an enzyme called TFOS. It dissolves our bone. Our bone uptakes the uric acid so it won't cause major disease in our body, which it does. Uric acid is super, super highly toxic, so our body defends against it. Well, guess what? When you take zeolite, it defends against uric acid, and your body doesn't form TFOS. It doesn't dissolve your bones, and thus your bone density improves. It's called addition by subtraction, and it's a beautiful thing. Now, when we need these minerals, we go back to our, what we call ionic elements. Ionically charged minerals from a humic ore bed. Now, what does a humic ore bed mean? You see, first of all, we know that topsoil erosion and chemical fertilizers have created mineral deficiencies in our food. All of the chemical fertilizers only have 3 numbers. Go and look at chemical fertilizers. They have 3 numbers. And those 3 numbers are nothing more than nitrogen, potassium, and potash. And those 3 things encourage root growth, stem growth, and flower growth. But the plants need dozens of other minerals in the soil in order to nourish you. And Ionic Elements fuels your mineral deficient body with all of the critical minerals that you need. It contains over 17 ocean and plant-derived minerals. What does that mean? Well, that means that there was this rainforest, and that rainforest was overcome during the Ice Age. And during the Ice Age, the oceans receded, and these icebergs, glaciers crept across. And when they did, they crushed this tropical rainforest underneath a glacier. And when the glacier receded, it left behind this crushed plant matter that had been frozen and now was covered by dirt. Now, that plant matter created a tar-like substance that was not oil, but was nothing more than the decomposing plant matter. It was the most mineral-rich deposit in the United States. We went there, got a mining right, and we used fulvic acid baths to coax those minerals out of that humic ore. And there's nothing like it on the planet. So Ionic Elements is the only liquid mineral that doesn't have a preservative. Ionic Elements is the only liquid mineral that has, again, this critical fulvic acid combined with humic or derived minerals. And I'm telling you, it will rock your world. You could tell the difference immediately. It could also be used, by the way, on your skin. But this is something that gives you more energy in a big, big way. You know, trace minerals are different than the macro minerals. Trace minerals create our responses in our body, our synapses in our body, the conductivity in our body, these messages between our brain and our muscles and our cells. They're all fueled by minerals. Every chemical reaction that takes place in our body requires a mineral. Every enzyme that is activated requires a mineral. This is for real. Every thought that our brain uses requires 16 different minerals. When we sweat, we lose 16 different minerals. Do you think that's an accident? Ionic elements, critical for our survival in today's world. So I think that that concludes our product information. I hope that it was sufficient for you all, but if not, I'm here for you to answer any questions you might have or to take any comments as well.
Thank you, David. That was full of great information. We do have some questions here, so I'm just going to get right into them. You may have already kind of answered some of these, but just to go over again, how do you safely detox heavy metals?
Yeah, so on the gentle, side, I recommend the Chlorella, and that's like more of a daily thing. I recommend doing Chlorella, like part of a nutritional regimen a little bit every day. But when you really want to go for it, you want to use the fulvic zeolite. That's your more deep cleaning of heavy metals.
Awesome. How do you detox the liver?
That's such a great question. The reason why we put the milk thistle in there is to detoxify the liver. And of course, as you know, nothing detoxes the liver better than green food. And if you want to regenerate the liver, spirulina actually has interferon. And as you know, interferon therapy is really horrible when you have cirrhosis of the liver or hepatitis. And so nothing rejuvenates the liver like interferon, and it's naturally occurring in spirulina. So you could take any of our green juices to really flush the liver. And then if you want to heal the liver in that way, spirulina. And then of course, in both of these fibers, we have the psyllium for the liver, because we know the liver is going to be doing some heavy lifting, and we wanted to buffer it and protect it during these cleanses.
Thank you. How often should a person cleanse?
Oh, I forgot something. Beet juice. Beet juice is my favoriteest liver cleanse. And as you know, our beet juice product has just hit the market. So it's not just for bodybuilders, not just for men with ED. It is amazing for detoxifying the liver.
Thank you. Like I said before, how often should a person cleanse?
Okay, that's such an awesome question. I recommend Parasite cleansing 3 times a year, so every 4th month. I recommend a Chlorella cleanse 3 times a year, every 4th month. And I recommend, a heavy metal cleanse. So what I would do is I'll do a heavy metal cleanse 1 month. I'll do a Parasite cleanse the next month. You know what I mean? And I'll just keep rotating, and I mark it on my calendar. And so essentially I'm detoxing 12 months a year. I'm just detoxing a different part of my body.
Thank you. Can you also please explain a little further the products that can be used for your dogs?
So we are not licensed to make products for dogs. uh, I cannot deny the miraculous effect that Chlorella has had on all the dogs that I've known. 90% of dogs die because of tumors. And Chlorella is the most effective tumor fighter on the planet. I mean, literally, I've seen tumors dissolved in days. So my former personal assistant, Jenny Rose, I was traveling, and she goes, "Oh my God, Simba developed like this fatty acid tumor. Literally, since you've been gone, it's as big as like 2 50-cent pieces side by side." I'm like, "Oh my God, you're kidding." I said, "Well, you know what to do. Just give him some Chlorella." Well, she didn't know that she was only supposed to give him like 20 tablets, and she let him eat the whole bottle. And I was really worried, because that's a lot of Chlorella. I come back 2 days later, and it usually takes about 7 to 10, 12 days to dissolve a tumor using Chlorella. It literally was gone in 2 days. Now, I never had the courage to give a dog that much Chlorella, and I wouldn't recommend it. But Jenny didn't know the difference, and my dog wouldn't stop eating the Chlorella. And usually the dog will know its limit and stop. And so that was the most dramatic. But I had a 24-year-old dog that had a 22-year-old dog, and they were both just barely alive, golden retrievers. And circumstances, it's a weird thing, but their mom ended up in jail trying to defend herself from an abusive husband. And so she picked up a baseball bat and she ended up in jail. But trust me, it wasn't her fault. So I took on the dogs. And when I took on the dogs, they were dying. They had tumors everywhere, and they could barely get up off the ground. And so I just put them on a diet of nothing but Chlorella. By the time she got out of jail 3 weeks later, those dogs were playing like puppies, tug of war with the little play toy, it has like a hook on both sides. And she goes, "Oh, what happened to my dogs?" And she's like, "Wow, everything happens for a reason." She said, I'd go back to jail to save my dogs, So I've had some amazing stories. And Amy, my partner, she had a little dog and named Maggie. And Maggie ended up living like 19 years, and her breed's supposed to live 11. And it's because we just kept feeding her Chlorella. It was a Tibetan Spaniel, and they only lived to be 11 to 12 years, and she lived to be 19.
Wow, awesome. So we have time for one last question. Are there any symptoms the body may have during a cleanse where you should stop?
Sometimes the skin will become a form of detoxification when other areas are blocked. So if you find that you're getting a significant amount of eruptions on your skin, you need to really stop and possibly do a salt flush just to make sure, you know what I mean, that you got stuff moving before you do the cleanse. And you guys know how to do a salt flush, right? So that's a really good question. Whoever asked that, man, kudos.
Thank you so much. We're going to wrap things up now. Thank you all again for attending, and thank you, David, for all of that wonderful information. If you have not done so already, please register for our upcoming webinars. For more information, please visit LuckyVitamin.com and search keyword webinar. Please see the screen for an exclusive promo code. Reminder, this code is active now and will be active for the next 72 hours.